back and appeal to people in a bigger way.
And tie-do. It's the first celebrity wedding of the year, but have Kate and Pete tied the knot or not?
Good evening. Her face beaming from the pages of her family album, Ellie Lawrenson was remembered today as her parents' little angel. She was always happy and smiling, they said in a statement, full of life, always running around. Ellie was staying at her grandmother's house in St Helens on Merseyside when she was attacked and killed by her uncle's dog in the early hours of New Year's Day. It was later destroyed by police marksmen. Today, a post-mortem examination confirmed it was a pit bull terrier type. Now, police say it would have been banned under the Dangerous Dogs Act, and ITV News has discovered it is not the first time the animal had been involved in attacks. Our reporter Emma Murphy is in St Helens. Emma.
She was a little girl who laughed and smiled her way through life, loved to sing and dance and was looking forward to starting to learn how to ice skate. Today, Ellie Lawrenson's parents have spoken of their love for their daughter and their heartbreak at her loss as they try to come to terms with life without the girl they describe as their little angel. They are snapshots of a little girl with so much to live for, a life that brought so much joy to her family, a life cut short by the savagery of that family's pet dog. Ellie had begged to be allowed to spend New Year's Eve with her grandmother. That childhood treat ended up costing her her life. Police still don't know how or why the dog attacked Ellie. Tonight, results of its post-mortem have been revealed.
The dog has been assessed as a pit bull terrier type dog, which is prohibited under the Dangerous Dogs Act. We will, of course, be consulting with the Crown Prosecution Service, and a report will be forwarded to both the coroner and the Crown Prosecution Service to consider if any offences have been disclosed by anybody.
Through the day, those who knew and loved the 5-year-old have laid flowers in her memory just yards from where she died. Friends have spoken of the cheery, polite little girl who so doted on her baby brother.
I just see her running in and out, and she's laughing and giggling, and she's just so pretty, so pretty. Just looking forward to everything.
2 days after the attack, the forensic work at the house continues as police try to gather evidence of the dog's disposition. The dog was bought 12 months ago as a puppy. However, the attack on Ellie was not its first show of aggression. Last May, the council's dog warden sent an official warning to the pit bull's owner, Ellie's uncle, after an attack on a neighbour's dog. In September, an elderly man was set upon by the animal outside his home, but managed to fight it off with a walking stick. It was just 4 months later, on New Year's Day, that the dog made his final fatal attack, leaving Ellie dead and her grandmother seriously injured. This man's dog was injured in a fight with the same animal.
It was a big dog, it was powerful, and it was aggressive, and it was full of aggression.
Aggression that now has ended the life of a beautiful, smiling little girl and utterly destroyed her family. Emma Murphy, ITV News, St Helens.
Well, it's been 16 years since the Dangerous Dogs Act was passed. Since then, the number of pit bull terriers and other banned dogs has declined dramatically, but still the attacks have continued. Last year, more than 400 people were found guilty of owning dogs that had attacked people, and more than 4,000 people were admitted to hospital after being bitten by a dog. The Act, though, clearly has its limitations. Only 7 people were prosecuted last year for possession of a dangerous dog. There's concern now that pit bulls especially have become a status symbol for many young men who favour them for their ferocious reputation. Chris Choi looks close up at the arguments for changing the law on dangerous dogs.
Music videos with snarling pit bulls. But some think this is all wrong.
It's the latest fashion accessory.
Amateur footage proudly displayed. Dogs have become a macho accessory.
I'd call them wannabe gangsters, for want of a better word.
Belfast girl from Judy 84 save.
Out with the dog wardens, I saw equipment like extreme riot gear to deal with a growing problem in many inner cities.
So what you're seeing is dogs being used almost as a fashion accessory, even as a weapon. I mean, where is this leading? What's the danger?
We have some people that are scared to go out of their front doors. We have some people that are scared to walk into certain areas. Dog owners as well, they're fearful for their own dogs.
The trend for pit bulls and similar dogs comes despite a ban, which left gaps. For example, even experts find it hard to say what is and is not a pit bull. And dogs like these terriers crossed with a Rottweiler aren't banned. Today we got exclusive access to new proposals for legal reform. These show that influential groups are now unhappy with existing legislation, and they make the government look increasingly isolated. One idea, the dog ASBO, could include orders for pets to be destroyed, muzzled, microchipped or rehomed even before an attack. We've discovered versions of dog orders are used or proposed in Wandsworth, Liverpool, Crewe, Cheltenham and Lincolnshire.
Dogs on balconies, dogs that are kept in dirty conditions, never exercised, never fed or watered properly. The legislation is going to be stronger there, but we still need more legislation, such as dog licensing or dog registration.
Home video of a child and a pit bull terrier. To some it shows a dog's temperament, not type, is important, and that 16 years on, laws aimed at eradicating dangerous dogs have badly missed their target. Chris Choi, ITV News.
Well, we asked to interview a government minister on this subject, but we were told that no one was available. So what does the man who actually introduced the Dangerous Dogs Act 16 years ago make of his law now? The former Home Secretary, Kenneth Baker, now Lord Baker, joins me. Good evening, Lord Baker. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Good evening.
Now, your act was criticised, wasn't it? It was called a knee-jerk reaction at the time. It's clearly not working. Does it need reforming now, do you think?
Yes, definitely. I think it's an absolute tragedy what has happened, that there are still pit bull terriers and pit bull terrier types still in Britain. The whole purpose of the Act was you were going to eliminate these dogs completely from the dog-owning community in Britain. Because when the jaws of a pit bull close upon the arm of a child, they cannot be prized open until the dog is dead. And I'm amazed that there are still pit bull terriers and pit bull terrier types. Didn't the local dog wardens realise that this was a pit bull terrier type? Did they ask whether it was registered? Did it have a microchip? Had it been neutered? These are all allowed under the existing law, but the law ought to be strengthened. The actual act was watered down in 1997 in favour of dog owners. Give them a second chance was the thing.
Forgive
and
me
I don't
for
believe
interrupting
dogs
you.
like this should be given a second chance.
If you were Home Secretary today, what would you do to change the law, to strengthen it?
Right, I would register other breeds as well, so that one knows exactly who owns them. Rottweilers, 2 Rottweilers killed a baby earlier this year. All bull terriers of all sorts and Alsatians should be registered. Then they should be muzzled when they're in a public place. I mean to say, when a child is playing in a park, that child has a right to be playing in safety. I'd do that. I'd enforce the existing law more effectively. I'd ask every dog warden in the country to go and register pit bull terriers or suspicious pit bull terriers straight away. I think there's been a reluctance to do that. And it's a great disappointment because it ends in this awful tragedy.
Lord Baker, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Now, the man accused of murdering 5 women in Ipswich appeared in court today. Steve Wright was remanded in custody until May the 1st.
Lawyers for the former forklift truck driver said they may apply for his trial to be held away from Ipswich.
Well, our reporter Harry Smith is there tonight. Harry.
This was his second appearance in court since his arrest. Once again, security was tight. Once again, the world's media was watching. And once again, he had very little to say as he appeared in the dock.
He arrived an hour before the time he was due to appear, driven the 80 miles from Belmarsh Prison in East London under police escort. Crowd barriers had been erected around the court, but no one came to watch. Steve Wright stepped into the dock of court number 1 along with 3 security guards. He wore a dark blue suit with a blue tie. For the few minutes he was in court, he looked straight ahead, spoke only to confirm his name, and gave no hint as to what he might be thinking or feeling. Steve Wright is accused of murdering 5 women, all prostitutes from the Ipswich area. 25-year-old Gemma Adams was found on the 2nd of December near Hintlesham. 19-year-old Tanya Nicol was found just a few miles away in Copdock on the 8th of December. Annalie Alderton, aged 24, was found in Nacton on December the 10th. She was 3 months pregnant. 24-year-old Paula Clennell and 29-year-old Annette Nichols were discovered just 200 yards apart near Levington on the 12th of December. His lawyer said that because of the massive publicity the case had attracted, he would try to move any trial away from Ipswich.
The initial feeling is that the local emotions are running high, and it might be difficult to have a sensible, fair trial in Ipswich, but of course that will be a matter for the judge to consider in due course.
This home video, obtained exclusively by ITV News, shows Steve Wright in happier times at a family wedding 5 years ago. Tonight, the smiling wedding guest has been returned to Belmarsh Prison, where he'll be held until his next court appearance.
And that next appearance will be here on May the 1st. And Steve Wright has been told today that on that occasion he will be asked by a High Court judge if he pleads guilty or not guilty on 5 counts of murder.
All right, Harry, thank you very much indeed.
Still to come on the evening news, the model on a mission, a special report from Romania on the abandoned orphans and the women trying to save them.
They're going to be institutionalized for their whole life, which is probably going to end up giving them disabilities and they'll end up having a very sad existence.
And a marriage made in Tab.
Today and had been involved in 2 incidents before. Ellie Lawrenson from St Helens on Merseyside was attacked by a dog belonging to her uncle in the early hours of New Year's Day. Today her family said they were absolutely devastated and described Ellie as their little angel. The animal's owner could now be charged under the Dangerous Dogs Act, but critics say the law must be strengthened. Our North of England correspondent Nick Martin has this report.
This picture of 5-year-old Ellie Lawrenson was released by her family today. She's seen here cradling her newborn baby brother Josh. A picture taken recently, she's said to have doted on him. Ellie Lawrenson was staying at her grandmother's house in St Helens on New Year's Eve when the family dog Reuben turned on her. She suffered horrific head and neck injuries and died in the house. Ellie's grandmother Jackie tried to save the little girl. She was bitten several times and has today undergone surgery. The dog was confirmed as a type of pit bull, illegal under the Dangerous Dogs Act of 1991.
A post-mortem took place this afternoon. That post-mortem was attended, amongst others, by a recognised expert from the Metropolitan Police who assessed the type of dog that it is. The dog has been assessed as a pit bull terrier type dog, which is prohibited under the Dangerous Dogs Act.
Throughout the day, flowers have arrived here, tributes paid by those who knew the family. Many were friends of Ellie Lawrenson's of similar age. This is an estate which has been left stunned by a violent death.
Obviously upset over the
She knew the little girl, did she?
She did. She went to nursery with her. And obviously she's getting older now and she can see things that are going on and that to tell her. She understands. It's just really, really tragic.
In a statement tonight, the family said that Ellie was always happy and smiling. She was a little angel, they said, full of life and always running around. We are absolutely devastated and can't believe she's gone. Several miles up the road, the family home was empty today. Ellie's parents, Darren and Lindsay, were being comforted elsewhere by family members. Next-door neighbour Linda Weaver only found out what happened this morning.
Just such a pretty little girl, so full of fun and like a little angel. Like a little angel, so well-mannered, beautiful, really, really beautiful.
An investigation by Merseyside Police is now underway. It's emerged that there had been complaints about the dog on several occasions. In May last year, it attacked another dog, and in July, the police and local council were made aware of other complaints about barking. Jock Glendinnings lives nearby. He said his dog Boise was attacked only 8 weeks ago by Reuben.
I think had it not been for the fact my mate got the chilching round Boise, it would have killed Boise. It was quite capable of size, weight, you know, and it was only a young dog as well.
Ellie Lawrenson's death has brought back the debate about dangerous dogs. After a series of vicious and high-profile attacks, the government brought in the Dangerous Dogs Act in 1991. These are the dogs that are banned: Pit Bull Terriers, Dogo Argentinos, Fila Brasilarios and Japanese Tosas. All have earned a reputation for attacking. The penalty for illegal possession of one of these dogs is a fine of up to £5,000 and/or 6 months imprisonment. But the law is more vague when it comes to crossbreeds. The Act emphasises it's the type, not breed of dog, which is important, and says if the animal has the physical and behavioural characteristics of a banned dog, then it too is illegal. As the family come to terms with what's happened here, there are question marks over where the investigation goes tonight. The Crown Prosecution Service has told us that it's uncertain whether the owner, in this case the uncle, will not only face prosecution for having an illegal breed of dog, but of course what the dog did to Ellie Lawrenson. Nick Martin, Channel 4 News, St Helens on Merseyside.
Well, now in the past few minutes, Ellie Lawrenson's relatives have been laying flowers at the scene of the attack. She'd been staying at her grandmother's house in St Helens at the time. Her grandmother was badly hurt trying to protect the child and remains in hospital tonight. Now we're joined from Sussex by Lord Baker, who as Home Secretary brought in the Dangerous Dogs Act 16 years ago. Kenneth Baker, do you have any sense in the decade and a half since your act that really there has been any reduction in the number of these dangerous dogs that are held?
Well, pit bulls have virtually disappeared from the UK, but not completely. Pit bull terrier types have also been reduced. There have been fewer pit bull attacks. There was only one last year and it wasn't fatal. But it's absolutely tragic what has happened. There should be no pit bulls left in this country at all. That was the purpose of the Act. These dogs are vicious, they're bred for fighting, and they can suddenly flip, as obviously happened in this tragic incident.
Well, which do you think it is? An inadequate bill in the first place, or poor implementation?
I think it's basically poor implementation. I think that the local dog warden should realise this was a pit bull terrier type. And what I would do, I'd give the authority to dog wardens to determine this, whether a dog is of a pit bull terrier type. I want no let-up on pit bull terriers and pit bull terrier types at all. In my judgment, all the pit bulls and all the pit bull terrier types are not worth the life of one little girl.
But do you have any sense that local authorities even have enough sort of dog police, as it were, dog wardens, to make such an enforcement?
Well, many authorities do have dog wardens now, but I would even go further than that, because earlier this year, a little girl was killed by 2 Rottweilers, and again, I would extend not the full force of the Act to other brands, but to Rottweilers, to Bull Terriers, General Alsatians. They should all be registered, so that one knows who the owners are and where they are. And when they're registered, I think those breeds should also be muzzled when they appear in public. After all, if a little child is playing in a park, they have the right to play in safety, and that would be secured if those breeds were muzzled, as indeed the remaining pit bull terrier types have to be.
In many ways, I mean, this in the end is about humans rather than dogs, isn't it?
To some extent, you're right, John. It is. But the Act was weakened in 1997 by a lot of dog owners who said, concentrate on the dog owners. Let the dogs have a second chance. I don't believe that some dogs should have a second chance when they have a record of savaging children and savaging people and savaging other dogs.
Lord Baker, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you. Now, the man accused of killing 5 women in Suffolk has reappeared in court to face 5 charges of murder. With the details and more of the day's news, here's Alex.
Yes, 48-year-old Stephen Wright appeared before Ipswich Crown Court, where he was remanded in custody until May.